Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Unwrap Holiday Magic Programmatic. My name is Amika Evans. I'm a part of the revenue team here, and this is my lovely co-host.
Hi guys, I'm Sean Benolio. I'm a creative strategist here at StackAdapt.
Awesome. Spoiler alert, yes, we are both at StackAdapt. It is about us today. So as mentioned, we are today's presenters, Amika and Sean, respectively on the revenue team and the creative team here. So just want to quickly give you all an overview about StackAdapt and who we are. So StackAdapt is a self-serve programmatic advertising platform, otherwise known as a DSP. We are used by the most exceptional digital marketers, a lot of you who are on the call today. And our platform is where some of the most progressive work in machine learning meets cutting edge user experience for ad buyer plans, execution, managing data-driven digital advertising campaigns across devices, inventory, and publisher partners. So let's dive into the agenda very quickly. Fantastic. So in terms of the agenda today, we are going to be talking about the holiday trends. This is a holiday programmatic webinar. So yes, we are still talking about holiday trends and insights for 2023. We're going to dive into festive season campaign planning. We're going to go over some targeting strategies. We're going to talk about creatives, reindeer, ribbons, and ROI. That's my favorite, point number 4. And then we're going to explore some channels. We're going to measure the impact on how this can come to fruition for y'all. And then we're going to summarize everything and then take care of Q&A at the end as they pop up in our Q&A questions box. All right, so let's get started. So first off is talking about holiday trends and insights for 2023. So in terms of holiday season trends, what I'm depicting here is that holiday retail sales increased by 7.6% during November 1st to Christmas Eve. Shoppers were spending more in many categories, i.e. restaurant spending was up 15.1% compared to last year. Clothing sales also increased by 4.4%. In-store shopping was also up and saw an increase in sales by about 6.5%. Online sales increased as well. So that's where we really want to kind of live, in the online sales, while department stores only had a modest increase of 1% over 2021. Black Friday was the most popular sales day in 2022, with over half of the American shoppers intending to purchase a present on this day, followed by Cyber Monday. But unless you're like me and you like to shop at last minute, you did not partake in this. However, we should start. That being said, online retail consumers spent a record of $9.2 billion on Black Friday in 2022, which is up 2.3% year over year. Brick and mortar holiday spending has topped $1 trillion for the first time in 2022. And finally, e-commerce will still outpace brick and mortar, but not by much. However, it still will. Going forward, the growth gap between e-commerce and overall retail will be about 5 percentage points. So let's talk about discounts and how that will set the tone for the year. So as mentioned before in our previous slide, Black Friday saw an absolute resurgence in online retail shopping. That's because discounts will, of course, and obviously set the tone for this year. Consumers will remain price sensitive. Inflation won't be as big of a problem. Let's just address the elephant in the room or the tree or whatever big object in the room. When it comes to discounts, setting the tone, it means that we're always going to be a little bit more price conscious. And as such, you can see where those average percentage discounts per category in line. Next slide, please, Sean. Amazing. Thank you. So let's talk about consumer trends here. So on the left side of this slide, you see the pie. I am just fumbling. U.S. digital shoppers by age group here, and how much they take up of said shopping. So these are the buyers that are under age 35 is 36.8%. So that real, let's call it sweet spot here is the 25 to 54-year-olds, or even 64-year-olds for that matter, here in terms of U.S. digital shopping age group. So what this really tells me is effectively, just target broadly. everyone is really effectively going and tapping into the e-commerce bag when it comes to digital shopping. Those who have independent incomes, you can obviously see here from the 25 to 30 to 65 plus. I'd imagine that if I were a betting lady, that 18 to 24 age group, that vector right there is more on the 22, 21 plus side of things. But what's really cool to kind of call out here is that men are also taking cost-saving measures such as buying store brand or generic products and shopping for sales. Women are most significantly more likely to adopt these behavior than men. We love a bargain, don't we? Awesome. So let's talk about how retail market gets driven. So 41% of the shoppers are most likely than a year ago to buy after they browse online for inventory available in physical locations. So what does that mean? So effectively, if I just kind of quickly go through these three prongs here, m-commerce sales will rise. Last year, mobile shopping drove over half of sales during the Cyber 5 period in the US. That is huge. You know, I think we're all shoppers to some capacity here. It goes without saying that a lot of retailers and e-commerce sites have adopted a very mobile-friendly site and website for us to be able to you know, see such a rise increase like this. And as such, the increase has been double digits, reaching $129 billion. Further to that, cost of delivery will be the #1 factor for online shoppers. 32% of respondents listed the cost of shipping as the most important factor of shopping online. You know, all I'm going to say is amen. I hear that. Delivery cost is always the thing that kind of deters someone from seeing that click and just really, you know, completing that purchase when it comes to online. What does that look like? How long will that take? These kind of factors always play a role here. And then last but not least, buy online, pick up in store will also influence people to consider a particular retailer. So 39% of shoppers are seeking out retailers who offer it. We are definitely in our convenient shopper era. This is huge, right? So not having to navigate a lot of people in the brick and mortars, not having to navigate the crowd, just click online, purchase, go in store, pick it up, you're out within 5 minutes or less. So this is how we are seeing said retail market being driven. Let's talk about some campaign planning. I actually geek out when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I always want to kind of bring everything full circle here. So we've conceptualized some upcoming trends for retailer. So what's next? You're probably wondering. So when it comes to retail purchase journey, there's always going to be facets of a purchase journey, albeit retail or anything for that matter when it comes to consideration and lead generation. So there's that awareness prong, the consideration prong, conversion, and evaluation. So without really going into the nitty gritty and reading off every single box here, you'd see that when it comes to awareness, we want to trigger an influence, albeit for online advertisements, digital influencers, online shops. If we're talking offline, we're talking maybe some physical shopping, talking to friends or families, word of mouth, still works. A huge believer in that, actually. And then we get into the consideration portion of that, which is product and company research. Consideration is huge. Customer reviews is something that really is something that is kind of, I think I've been seeing a resurgence on, and just kind of reading online reviews, company website reviews, so on and so forth. And then of course, finally, consideration wouldn't be what it is without ad retargeting. Let's get to the good stuff here. What everybody really wants to see is that bottom funnel and really hitting to that conversion. So when and where to buy. So if we're looking online, we're talking about e-commerce stores and mobile. Offline, of course, spoiler alert, physical stores, and then of course ad retargeting. Hey, I'm looking at, you know, this red shirt for my ugly Christmas sweater party. I'm gonna get retargeted with that again. And then last but not least is, of course, evaluation, experience, and feedback. So seller or brand website, online forums, social media platforms, of course, we can never forget about social. And then finally, On the offline component of that, sharing with friends and or family about your experience and the feedback to get to that purchase. So the online purchase cycle, and or I should say the retail purchase cycle for that matter, and that journey is very complicated, some would say. However, when you go through every single facet, you see that there's always really 4 prongs of that really should be considered and used when it comes to planning for your future retail and e-commerce campaigns. So let's talk about multi-channel strategy. So if anyone has ever been on a call with me, they know I always tout a multi-channel strategy. Why? We're a complicated species, let's just say that. We don't only just, look at one thing. We are outside walking our dogs. We are driving on the highway. We are at work on our computers. We are watching television to unwind sometimes. As such, we have and should follow a consumer journey because of that. So implementing a multi-channel strategy helps create and maintain a single view for the customer across all channels. So you're setting control groups and measuring multiple touch points. So first, how do we get to that? How do we increase reach and capture our users? You do your audience research. So you look at internal and external data to set your personas. A lot of great retail marketers already have personas, and they constantly challenge themselves, albeit on a quarterly or a yearly basis, to revamp and level up their persona data. Finally, you get to your customer journey map, understand how your target audience moves through the funnel. Very, very important. Then you identify the channels. Learn which channels your customers use the most and or regularly, and for what. For what is very, very key here. Why are they using it? When are they using it? And then, optimize accordingly to that, which is a great caveat to my point of create and consistent messaging. So keep your messaging consistent across all channels. Because, albeit that you have different personas, creating that consistency always amplifies your brand affinity. And then lastly, test and optimize, my favorite. So always test and optimize your campaigns based on your results. A great platform like StackAdapt will afford you the ability to test and optimize almost in near real time. So this is something that you guys should always lean on to make your campaigns very successful, especially when it comes to retail. So let's talk about some tips for a successful campaign here. So again, review data from 2022. So whatever worked last year may also perform well this year. However, always, always, always great to either A/B test that notion and or improve what you did last year to create a really successful campaign. Test early and often. So starting to test new call to actions, placements, also drives more engagement and can be replicated during peak seasons. So testing early, testing often is always going to help kind of inform your strategy and kind of the focus you should be taking. Speaking of focus on storytelling. Avoid being too obvious with showcasing your products. Subtle messaging can be more effective to gain the audience's attention. It kind of goes back to, just curiosity, right? So this is exactly what that is all about, right? So just kind of being super subtle about messaging, piquing curiosity of your consumer and focusing it that way. And last but not least, introduce a multi-channel strategy. I'm so bullish on a multi-channel strategy. Always helps increase reach. It helps increase brand affinity, of course. And of course, last but not least, your customer experience offline and online. Awesome. So let's just talk about, what I'd propose if we were doing a multi-channel strategy. And my approach here is always going to be kind of towards what is, A, emerging channels, but B, kind of what is kind of tried, tested, and true. Granted, not all retail campaigns are built the same. Not all websites are built the same. That being said, take this with a grain of salt, but let's talk about a multi-channel strategy proposition here. So CTV, connected TV, for anyone that has a smart television, you've absolutely have viewed a connected TV ad, albeit through your big screen or a small screen in OTT. What's really cool about implementing connected TV strategy is that you can have video completion retargeting, which is almost always 100% completion, which is awesome. We can also yield reporting on view through conversions, which is great. So view through being if I saw the ad, where was that next? Where was it viewed next on what channel? And then of course, frequency control. Frequency, you never want to inundate your customer and annoy them with your ad, quite frankly. It's cool if they know the jingle, but if they know the jingle based on seeing your ad 5 times in a row or every single ad spot when they're watching The Real Housewives, I don't know if you did the right job there. That being said, number 2, retargeting. So retargeting with lots of different channels. CTV can and be retargeted across various different channels in the multi-channel ecosystem. So we can consider video, again, creating that high impact kind of solution there, display and or native. Last but not least, measuring and attribution. We love this. We've loved this word for the last decade, and we're going to love it for 10 more years after this. We love measurement. We love attribution. I know this. So site traffic, measure with brand and or sales lift and on-site actions, albeit with our pixel, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of really neat things that you can do to create efficacy when it comes to a multi-channel approach here. And I just use CTV for that matter. Awesome. So let's talk about targeting. Targeting is super exciting, as well as multi-channel strategies. But targeting is imperative for holiday success here. So let's talk a little bit about some of the audience's capabilities that StackAdapt has that's proprietary to us. So the first one being is browsing audience segments. So what's really neat about this is that you can target topics that are relevant to your campaign. So what happens is that our machine learning develops an audience that consists of users that have shown interest in those areas. So what are the key considerations for using browsing audiences? What type of online behavior does your customer exhibit? How long are they in your consumer journey? And what channels your target customers are using? What's really cool about this, and what you guys would see in this example here, is that you have the ability to really finesse your browsing audience segment with in-context phrases or out-of-context phrases. From there, based on those topics and keywords that you use to build your segment, relevant contextual phrases will populate. So it's really, really, really neat, so that it follows the user based on these contextual relevancy and then serves them with an ad. Again, doubling down on that. You can toggle your meter there, and then have and serve to audiences that are less interested or more interested as you see fit. So really giving you the control in that part. And then of course, going back to the recency window, that as well, you could also manipulate if you'd like. This is very popular when it comes to search optimized campaigns. So quite frankly, a lot of our customers love using browsing audience segments, doubling down their search engine efforts, and then populating it into something like this on StackAdapt's platform. Page context AI. So while I can't see anyone in the GoToWebinar, just mentally put your hand up if you're tired of hearing about the cookieless future. I know I am. That being said, it's going to happen. That's what they say. So with that being said, StackAdapt has already thought of solutions in and around the imminent cookieless future. StackAdapt has never only relied on the cookie. And so doing parts of that, we've created our page context AI here. So what's really neat about that, and while it looks a lot similar to the browsing audience segment, what's really cool about this is that the page context AI, based on your in-context phrases, and if you put out-of-context phrases, populates your ad within a contextually relevant placement in real time. So you would, again, going back to some key considerations, what kind of keyword phrases do you think your customers will be using during this time? This example here, of course, is taking in context phrases such as Christmas, gifts, treats, surprises, so on and so forth. And then there you have it. Based on all of those words, Food and Wine article showing, all of those contextually relevant phrases in real time as your user is reading it. Very, very, very effective ad placement. And this is one of the first solutions that we had amplified once we heard about the cookieless future. Fantastic. Now, again, not to sound like a broken record here, but cookieless future, there's nothing better than leveraging first-party data. Let's be super duper duper honest. So if it's not a consideration of your client or your marketer right now, it should absolutely be a solution that you do think of. Think about cleaning up that first-party data audience so that you can leverage it as much as you can. So we are powered by the likes of LiveRamp, HubSpot, Snowflake, to name a few. And what's really neat about this is that you can instantly activate your data and leverage it to personalize experiences throughout your consumer journey. So let's just talk about the 3 arrows here very quickly. So we got acquisition-based strategies. So this is where you'd identify new customers based on signals gathered from your best customers. Think lookalike modeling. Followed by loyalty, retention, upsell strategies. You're driving performance by seamlessly launching retention and upselling strategies through advanced loyalty-based customers, segmentation in each funnel, suppression list. And I think y'all know where I'm going with the last one here, win-back strategies. So win-back strategies such as promotions, discounts, other value drivers to win back a churned customer. Think of, when a customer abandons a cart, as you'd give said customer maybe an email for an additional 10% off said purchase. That is considered a win-back strategy. And so this is the way, in a really unique way, in which you could leverage your first-party data by doing all of these things with StackAdapt on all these various different channels too. Awesome. Great. So we're going to talk about geo-radius targeting because we spoke a little bit earlier about brick and mortar. Yes, sure, people are not walking into brick and mortar as much. However, amplifying your strategies as best as you can, A/B testing, so on and so forth, is imperative. So geo-radius targeting, I'm sure everyone knows what that is. It allows for you to target people that are within a set radius of your shop and or brick and mortar location. Geo-radius targeting, for anyone that doesn't know, is always going to be trickier in a mall to get super duper finite. However, the general location of said point of interest is always going to be able to be tackled. So here are some examples of targeting brick and mortar location, areas of interest, like I said before, or kind of popular on our side, especially when it comes to penetrating the ever so loud retail market when it comes to the holidays, competitor brick and mortar locations. So all of these can be thought through and thought out with the help of your StackAdapt rep. Awesome. So let's get to dynamic retargeting, one of my favorites, and this is something that I lean on Sean and his team quite a bit for when it comes to dynamic retargeting. So I'm sure you all know about dynamic retargeting very well, retargeting a customer who's visited your website with a personal ad. What's really neat about our solution here is that it is always integrated and made for you. So every dynamic retargeting ad that you do with StackAdapt is customized. For example, you tell us if you want us to pull in price, you tell us if you want to pull in description, we set pixel and macros appropriately, and then that's how that dynamic retargeting ad is created. Furthermore, our lovely creative strategist team, such as Sean and his team, are able to customize every single dynamic retargeting template that you guys do see in the ecosystem when it's run through StackAdapt. So again, going through the funnel and making sure that with something like dynamic retargeting, you are seeing a sale when it's all said and done. Amazing. So let's get to Sean's part of this webinar, reindeer, ribbons, and ROI. I love this.
Thank you. That was well said, and I'm excited to talk about refresh creative for the holidays. Now's the right time to re-engage your clients, to talk to people, and get your creatives up to snuff when it comes to the holidays. And I'm going to show you a couple ways we can do that in terms of channel specific, format specific, and different ways that we can touch upon your creative to really keep them shining and bring that holiday magic and festive spirit. So let's get started. First up is native, and I'm going to show you how you guys can deck the halls with Refresh Native. Good idea to reconnect with valued clients and infuse that holiday magic into their native campaigns. A couple best practices that we found from a creative studio perspective is to always update your ad imagery with holiday themed visuals, whether that's snow, gift wrapping paper, festive dinners, seasonal items. Holiday themed visuals will really have a good visual at a glance connector to those holiday deals and holiday trends that are coming up. Next up is to use a holiday color palette. These are warm colors that evoke senses of festivity and magic and the spirit of what the holidays represent. Greens, reds, gold, blues, all holiday colors that are welcome into any of your native ads. And then lastly, it's really easy to tailor your ad copy to include holiday specific messaging and special offers to entice customers, like I've done with this whole creative deck here, Deck the Halls with Refresh Native. It's really easy to unwrap style or tech the halls. Festive feast made easy. Wordplay is really easy way to infuse that holiday spirit and that holiday magic into your creative for a smile on your customers' faces as they click on your links and check your stuff out. Next up, I want to talk about display. This is really our bread and butter here, and I want to get you guys ready to slay the competition with holiday-ready display ads. I'm recommending some high-impact ad units that are really great to highlight exciting product launches, special offers, and holiday promotions. To touch on a couple retail best practices of how you can put this into use, let's spotlight the newest fashion holiday trends, announce upcoming festive promotions, and fall clearance sales when it comes to fast fashion. We can do this with something like scratch to reveal, hotspots or carousels are a really good way to show lots of products and featured offerings for the holiday. For foodies and our retail, our food-centric clients out there, let's create a sense of urgency by showcasing seasonal menu items and introducing limited time offers. Those holiday LTOs are a really good way to drive consideration for the end consumer. And when we come into winter holidays, we're thinking of healthcare. Let's combat those winter woes and promote wellness offerings that speak to how people can get through these seasonal allergies and be their best selves for the holidays and give themselves to their families and their loved ones. So a couple really easy ways that you can get your holiday display ads up to snuff when it comes to the festive season. Next up, I want to talk about digital out of home and how we can spread digital cheer when it comes to the holidays. I personally love digital out of home because it is the most contextually placed environment to put an ad during the holiday shopping and travel season. As you can see, we've prepared some mock-ups here that really speak to what the capabilities of our team can be. And when it comes to placement and best practices, we've recommend capturing the attention of holiday shoppers in shopping malls. That is an active season for shoppers who are primed and ready to spend money and ready to purchase. So it's a really good time to highlight limited time offers, showcase countdowns, and drive people into store while they're already in the mall, which is really strong. And then when it comes to travel and our friends who are in the travel industry, let's showcase enticing destination ads at airports, like local travel ads, offers, experiences. People are getting ready to travel for the holiday season. They've got the money to spend, and let's showcase how they can do that with some really good travel destinations. And then last but not least, it's people are taking the subway, they're taking the train, they're taking transit. Let's inform commuters about upcoming holiday events and special discounts by placing ads at nearby retailers in transit hubs. So right off, just up the steps of the transit is your holiday shopping experience. So a couple really good ways to touch on digital out of home and make sure that you are placing your ads in the most contextually traffic stop environment. So next up, I just want to talk about CTV. Meeks touched on CTV a bunch up front, but I want to talk about how we can play a role here in savoring those magic moments on the big screen. When people are at home, they are primed for just tuning out, watching TV. It's a really good way to immerse themselves in that holiday spirit and how you can infuse your brand into those large screen moments. So some creative best practices that we're seeing work across Creative Studio. Show how products and services play a role in making the holiday holiday season special and more memorable. Put your products up front. Let's build in anticipation by incorporating countdowns or timers into your CTV ads. It's a really good way to drive consideration and a sense of urgency. And then lastly, showcase holiday gift recommendations to provide viewers with inspiration and ideas for their holiday shopping or gift guides. We've put together our sizzle reel to showcase the capabilities of what our production department and creative studio can do with very little or none assets. Some of the examples you'll see in this CTV reel, clients came to us with little to no assets, and we were able to turn things around with stock and really create incredible CTV pieces that can shine through on the big screen. So I'll play this for you now. Really strong work there from our production department. And like I said, we can get started with CTV with as little or as much content as you guys have, and we're excited to build some cool stuff for the holidays. Last is Shopify. I love a Shopify feed. Shopify feed ads are a really good way to display Shopify products to drive more sales, and using rich media ads to dynamically pull information from your inventory or certain collections or product ways that we can remind customers and help update our Shopify product feeds to have best in class for the holiday marketing season. So that includes updating product titles, descriptions, and tags to align with what's trending this holiday season. Again, using limited time offers, countdowns to create a sense of urgency by featuring LTO holiday offers in your product feed. And then one thing we see happen quite often and quite successful is creating special holiday bundles or gift package combinations by combining complementary products for the holiday season. Works really well. These are just a couple of the ways that Creative Studio recommends updating your ads for the best in-class magical moments this holiday season. I want to pass it back to Amika to talk about combining social with programmatic.
Yes, thank you, Sean. I hope y'all got really excited about that CTV sizzle reel. I know of some of those campaigns, I didn't know of all of them, and that was really cool. Anywho, so how to combine social with programmatic. So again, I think in the last few slides, Sean has demonstrated how effective and just amazing our Creative Studio is. And so effectively, what we can do with programmatic and social is mimic from the creative standpoint the social experience for your customer, albeit in these examples here you see Facebook, and then the other one is TikTok. So we could do the same for Instagram and so on and so forth. So what happens is that the user would see your ad on your social post, and how we get this or how we gather the user is simply by just embedding our pixel with your pixel on social media. We create the ad to look and feel like said programmatic experience, and then we pool the users internally on the StackAdapt platform to drive performance and retarget the acquired customers by organic posts programmatically. So as I mentioned, this is a really cool way to kind of amplify your social experience and what you are doing in social media, to just lend another tool in the toolbox when it comes to StackAdapt. So let's talk about channels to explore very quickly. So I'm not going to be super redundant. Sean already took you all through some examples of digital out of home. So again, from a top of funnel standpoint, you build awareness through high impact creative on specific messaging screens located in high traffic areas. Mid funnel, you influence consumers' consideration by displaying a dynamic and personalized messaging, such as product information, maybe some promotions, and or social media feeds. And then lastly, how you could use digital out of home from a lower funnel perspective is driving online conversions by displaying calls to action near points of purchase to drive foot traffic. So while digital out of home is unclickable, you can barely touch it most of the time because maybe it's so high in the sky, you can really consider all facets of the funnel in your digital out of home experience. We'll talk about device ID capture and how we can effectively expose your ad and retarget later through multi-channels. So as I mentioned, while digital out of home is not, effectively that tangible, you can retarget it with different channels, all by proxy of device ID. So simply when a user is exposed to the ad, you can retarget them later on all of the following channels here. It's that simple, quite frankly. And it's a really, really cool and effective way to just kind of move the needle on digital out of home so that you do acquire a little bit more than just kind of that ad placement. Again, connected TV, so reaching your users through TV views. And all of the targeting options are below here. So frequency capping, time and day of week, first party targeting, cross device ID, third party targeting, device type, you name it. Spoiler alert, connected TV can be used a lot like when it comes to targeting as you would a display or traditional means. So display, video, and or native. So next slide, let's talk about measuring the impact. So, we're going to bring all of this full circle so that everyone gets super excited about this. So we can start with a StackAdapt brand lift study. So you can measure the impact of your campaign across all programmatic channels. What's really neat about this? Why are you doing this, Amika? Why are you telling me about StackAdapt brand lift when I could use somebody else, third party? I'll tell you why. Real-time results. So access the results in real time and make mid-campaign flight optimizations. I spoke to y'all earlier about optimizing and having a really turnkey experience when it comes to retail and the pace of retail and so on and so forth. Being able to optimize at a really fast and sufficient pace is going to be imperative to a successful campaign. The flexibility, we also offer a lot of flexibility. So your survey can be very flexible in terms of how it looks. The design, the questions, do you want drop down? Do you guys want some, selections? Do you want yes or no? Do you want more questions on a slide? You tell us and we customize it to you. Of course, we are always going to be very bullish on just offering our expertise as far as, from a creative standpoint and the question standpoint as well. So, you can lean on us for that too. And last but not least is cost efficient. So what it allows for you to do when you work with StackAdapt for your brand lift study, it allows for a bigger sample size than traditional programmatic brand lift partners, which would result in increased costs. So cost is the name of the game these days, if you're buying a sweater or if you're doing a brand lift. So that's why StackAdapt brand lift when it comes to measuring impact. Let's talk about foot traffic really quickly. So we spoke about foot traffic a little bit and kind of alluded to, just, getting your customers in store and so on and so forth. Of course, you can do that with StackAdapt as well. So foot traffic attribution is a method to where you relate a mobile campaign impressions or conversions to actual store visits. So why would you want to measure this? Purely because you want to factor in any successful campaign targeting with the brick and mortar location. So it kind of just brings everything really turnkey, simply put, and really kind of adds the period to the end of your campaign strategy. Did my ads yield more foot traffic? Yes, no, what could we have done better? So on and so forth. Again, every single facet of testing a campaign is only to inform further what you will do for future. Lastly, let's just wrap this up and we'll see if there are any questions that percolate within the question channel. Awesome. So just to kind of summarize what was spoken about today, leveraging data for dynamic campaigns. So data-driven insights to create a dynamic programmatic campaign that is going to be adaptable for read time based on consumer behaviors and trends. That is key right there, because data is absolutely the future. Data is something that I know more and more agencies, brands, even data partners and DSPs alike, like us at StackAdapt, is something that we do want to lean on to adapt to real-time behaviors of your consumer. Multi-channel experience, my favorite, I tell you. Maybe I'm just too busy. I don't know why. I just like really love multi-channel experiences. But that being said, showing your ads across different devices and channels will drive greater reach, of course. That goes without saying, resulting in a larger retargeting pool for your clients. It's literally like, you know, they have, you know, the girl math, right? So more than one channel means more reach. Simple that way. Lastly, craft irresistible creatives. So Sean showed you some really awesome creatives that we can foster within our internal creative studio. Creatives that are really going to turn heads, for that matter, capture and evoke emotions, of course, build brand affinity, and you know, be memorable when it's all said and done. So, you know, from an interactive banner right onto a video ad, right? So having irresistible creatives. And if it is, you know, ever the case in which y'all have your own internal creative teams, but you just want a little bit of guidance and just, you know, you know, you just want to know if, you know, how do we feel about it? We'd obviously offer, you know, some guidance on that as well. Or you could just use a start to finish too. And would, last but not least, our last slide here, you know, we have to inflate our own tires because we're amazing. So you always want to partner with a programmatic platform that can handle new demands. On the left side of the slide, you see all of the different and various channels that we do tap into. We didn't even mention in-game today. We do offer in-game solutions. We didn't even mention audio today. We do offer audio solutions in a very, very large gamut of different publishing sites and so on and so forth. So there's all of that too. Last but not least, we are still the leader when it comes to the demand side platform side of things. And for results, as of this fall, which is around the corner really. So we just got this news not too long ago, I believe a couple of weeks ago, when it comes to G2 crowd. So 90% of surveyed organizations are increased in ROAS when considering their StackAdapt campaign's impact on overall performance. And 80% of surveyed organizations who have used other DSP agree that StackAdapt is the DSP that delivers the best results. And why do we deliver the best results? Because we are result-driven first. That's why. So I'm going to drop the mic here, and I'm going to open it up for some questions if there are any. I'm going to just start with this one, Sean. For creative production, how long does it usually take?
On mute. It's format specific, so it depends on which channel you're thinking of running, but anywhere from like 4 days to up to a week.
Okay, amazing, awesome, thank you. Okay, so I think I'll take this next question. So if you had to prioritize 2 channels for conversion campaigns during the holiday seasons, which ones would you go for and why? Ooh, good question. This is really contingent, of course, of, you know, results and the type of results every brand sees. However, I am super bullish on emerging technology just because high impact is definitely the way to go. So I would probably choose something like a digital out of home and connected TV, subsequently with either an in-banner campaign, in-banner video campaign, or traditional display, for that matter. Why? It's really hitting 2 prongs, right? So we're going with, you know, what's kind of getting everyone really excited, digital billboards, connected television, again, you know, for all of my streaming heads out here. So this is why I'd probably pick those, you know, upper funnel-y type channels. And then to bring it home all the way, an in-banner video is really neat as well, for the simple fact that it transacts on the price of a display unit. So you kind of get like the best of both worlds there, right? So you can get to run a video ad along with a display ad, but pay display CPMs. And then, you know, for traditional display as well, it is just kind of like try, tested, and true. one thing that I always say, and it is the corniest line, and forgive me, I always say that like a connected television ad or a TV ad legitimizes an ad. It just feels a little bit more special. It feels real. And so for that matter, it really builds that affinity. And if anyone could do like a really high impact digital out of home ad these days, again, it has that same notion. It just legitimizes that brand and it really creates brand affinity that way. Again, unpopular opinion, that's how I feel, but I think that we're onto something here. That said, let's see here. Another question, can you share insights on how to balance personalization with privacy concerns? Sure, that's a really good question. So I'll take this one, Sean, obviously. So when it comes to privacy concern and balancing personalization, one thing that I'd always say is, of course, tap into your StackAdapt stakeholders. So whoever your account manager and account executive is, these are the people that you should talk to. First off, all concerns are very different. Tell us what your concerns are. If it effectively is, something like, I'm going to go and put my first party data into StackAdapt through your LiveRamp integration. Is that okay? Should I be concerned? I will tell you, no, you should not, because it's embedded in LiveRamp, and said information does get hashed and matched, and we have no access to it. It's something that you would have to personally take on. Privacy concerns can, take the gamut. There's all different sets of ways in which someone could be concerned, but my simple answer is just tell us what it is that you are concerned about, and we will absolutely be able to answer and mitigate said concern on your side. That's what our team is here for, and we will be able to help. Amazing.
Meeks, I just want to jump in to clarify about the production timeline. So each channel that we have has a different timeline of how we can deliver the end product, and we recommend reaching out to a StackAdapt representative to understand what each individual channel's timeline can offer you sense. So like I mentioned, display can be anywhere from a week to up to 2 weeks, and video is a little bit different because it requires more resourcing. So always a good idea to have your StackAdapt reps call and introduce us as a creative strategist, and we can go through that in deeper detail.
Amazing. Thank you for clearing that up. Awesome. I guess that's it for questions. I don't see anything. I hope y'all really enjoyed this, quite honestly. And again, so my name's Amika. This is Sean. We're here obviously to answer any further questions that you do have. If you do have questions after this webinar, after you digest all of the lovely information that we gave you today, please let us know. Either hit me up or hit Sean up or your StackAdapt representative, and we'd be more than happy to help. Amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.